Hey everybody, Master C here. Hey, sorry for the terrible angle on the phone, and I'm sorry if you see a little swaying. I'm actually on a cruise. But I wanted to come back and say something really quick to you guys. Sometimes it's not all about us. Look, we have jobs. I have a job, I have a career, I have my business. It's the only way in which I support myself, my family, right? Nothing else. This is what I do. Well, sometimes even with that, even when you love what you do, you need to take time off, time to relax, time to decompress. Well, I thought that's what we were going on this cruise for. My wife and I work very, very long hours, and people don't see behind the scenes what goes on as a business owner. It's much more than just getting out there on the floor and teaching some type of martial arts or some type of physical fitness. Guys, there's a lot more to running our particular business, our martial arts school, than just what you see out on the floor, which takes a lot more hours, right? But back to what happened is I thought we are on this vacation because we're stressed, we need our time out. So we went on this vacation, and I said, you know what? No correspondence back to the school because we really need to take this time just to have a total time relaxing. No teaching, no consulting, nothing going on with the school. Well, that lasted a few days before I had to check my phone again, right? But anyway, so today I'm cruising around the cruise, and I happen to take a seat. Um, I see somebody sitting beside me, don't pay much mind to it. But then I just notice you hear a little sobbing, and I'm deaf, right? So for me to hear a little bit of sobbing, something's going on. So I asked the lady, is everything okay? Um, she says, yeah, everything's fine. And I said, well, ma'am, I don't want to be all in your business, but when you're crying like that, of course it's concerning to me. And whatever it is, I'm sorry. It's just not, it can't be that bad. You're on a wonderful cruise. Look how blessed you are to do this. Many people can't do this type of thing, and we just started talking. And she had explained to me that she came on this cruise because she's been very depressed. She had a relationship that didn't work out. She has some problems at work. She doesn't see herself having a future there much longer. There's some financial things that are going on. I mean, she just starts telling me all these things. And I listen, and then I say to her, ma'am, can I just ask you a question? And she says, sure. I said, why did you come on the cruise? And she said, to get away from the depression. And I'm like, ma'am, you can't do that. You don't take a cruise to get away from the depression. All you did was move the location of your depression from point A to point B. To leave that depression, she has to have a change of mental state. And that's what we started to talk about there. That although she's not in the state where she told me she's from, where all these things she is experiencing, she still brought all those things with her here, so she's still experiencing the same thing at a different location. So you have to know that when you move, guys, you have to leave things behind. You can't make yourself better if you're always being bitter. You can't make yourself stronger if you're going to live in a life of stress. And I'm telling you this firsthand. So as we started speaking, continuing speaking with each other, I said, can you identify to me what the problems are? And, she goes on, wow, you're so easy to talk to. Oh, well, thank you. But anyway, what are the problems? So she says, well, I was in a bad relationship. We just broke up. We were together for over 5 years. And I said, okay, so stop just with that. What's the problem? She says, well, we just had a breakup. I said, but wait a minute. You told me you were in a bad relationship for 5 years. So that sounds as if you had shackles on. And now that the shackles are free, you're uncomfortable by feeling that freedom that you haven't had for 5 years. That's not a problem. That's a different set of circumstances that you have to reprogram your mind to see it's a great thing. You're free to be you. She stops for a second and says, I didn't think about it that way. We seldom do. In the midst of our depression, we can't see beyond that depression. So I said, congratulations. You have the opportunity to have a new you. What's the next problem? Oh, my job. Okay, what is it about your job? Oh, I can't stand it. It seems like I can never do enough. They're always telling me that I'm doing things wrong. I said, well, are you? Well, she says, well, there's just some things I don't understand. And I said, okay, so since you don't understand them, you're doing them wrong. Is that right? Yes, she says. Okay, great. That if you don't understand them and you're having a job where someone is paying you a wage, it is your responsibility to go to your supervisor and ask for what? And she says, assistance. And I said, well, with that assistance, then you'll be able to understand better your job and you'll be able to earn the wage that they're supplying you instead of you just showing up at a location to get paid. See the difference? She says, I see. I said, well, you can live within the problem. You can be functional within your dysfunction, but that's not going to bring you an elevated level of happiness. So guys, you got to identify your problem, take accountability, and then go ahead and break down that problem. Here's identified what it is. I'm taking accountability for that problem. What are the steps that I'm going to take now to rectify that problem? Otherwise, all you're doing is justifying your inability to achieve your failure by creating excuses. Right? Makes sense? So, hey, I'm going to get back here to my cruise. Then I have to get back to working out when I come back in. You know what they say about those cruises? You eat a lot, you put on a lot, right? I have to take accountability for it. I've been a lush. So now when I get back, what do I have to do? Get back to the real world, get back to my nutrition, get back to the gym, seek out wise counsel that can tell me how to do it correctly and comfortably so that I can go ahead and achieve that goal of losing the weight, feeling better about myself, and having overall fitness and health. You see what I did? Identify the problem, and then instead of justifying my excuses, my failure, well, I put on all this weight, man, these cruises really suck. It's not the cruise, it's what I chose to eat on the cruise, right? So I need to then look at it on what am I going to do to solve this problem. You guys can do the same thing. Lastly, as we spoke, I don't even remember the lady's name. As we got up, there was not a crying tear in her eye. She gave me a hug and she said, thank you. And I said, ma'am, I didn't do anything more than to say to you what you already knew within yourself. You just had to hear it from an external source. And she says again, wise words being spoken. Each one, teach one, reach one. You guys can be the same. Accountability starts with you. No more creating excuses. No more justifying your failure by creating those excuses. Take that same valuable time that you can never get back again and create solutions. All right, guys, take care.